Here in Barbados. Of course, we're here in Montego Bay, Jamaica. It's a gathering of the significant persons in tourism. And when I say significant, I mean those who make it happen, from those who deal with the guests to those who determine policy. And it's a gathering of marketers, of sellers and buyers, the whole shebang. If you want to know anything about Caribbean tourism, this is the place to be. Privileged to have with us this morning, and she's one of the most sought after presidents of any organizations. This one, the CHTA, one of the hardest working women in tourism, I must say. And I'm not just saying that because she's sitting beside me, but she demonstrates that, and she's very passionate about what she does. And the results speaks for itself. Taking over the presidency right after COVID. During COVID, in fact. So working it through COVID and placing Caribbean tourism now at a point where one could arguably say that we are in this thing to win. And so kudos to Nicola Madden-Greig, who welcome to Caribstar Radio.
Morning, and thank you for having me.
Well,
Pleasure.
Same here, and I must tell you that based on, what we are seeing happening here at this marketplace, one of the things that I heard last night, I knew it was coming, is when he said, "This is going to be my last." I was crestfallen.
No. Yes, so it's 3 years in the seat, so yes, this is my last term as presidency and overseeing marketplace. I'll be stepping down later in the year.
No, you would have assumed the responsibility, as you said, during COVID. Share with us that time to where we are today.
Well, it was quite challenging, as you must imagine, and we had a regional task force. Of course, I was also on the COVID-19 task force for Jamaica. So a lot of our time and energy was spent trying to, of course, train all the various persons within the industry, make sure that we were able to come back strong. We were working with all our policymakers, with various governments, the National Hotels Associations, with CARFO, who yesterday I was very honored to be able to present them the award for the President's Awards for Excellence in Caribbean Tourism. That's the Caribbean Regional Public Health Authority. And they really worked with us through a lot of the details. We were able to, as a region, a lot of us opening up earlier than was expected by other regions in the world. And we were able to do that because of the level of protocols we put in place, the training that was shared, we benchmarked each other. It wasn't about one destination versus the other. It was about the entire region being able to open back and move forward. And so it was really a collaborative effort. And, we have to say kudos to everyone who put in the work, because the work was literally 24/7 to get it done.
Yesterday I had the occasion, I caught just a portion of it, the discussion panel on the whole aspect of private-public partnership, which was so critical in bringing back tourism, as one would say. Share with us some of the ingredients there, because obviously it was a situation where one had to think as if there was no box. We always talk about thinking outside the box, but we had to think as if there's no box to really bring us to where we are. Share with us how that relationship took place.
Well, one of the first things is a shared vision. We all knew that we needed to get tourism open, back up, or all our borders open, people back to work. So that was the first thing that propelled us, the shared vision for success. After that, I think it was a level of trust and understanding. We did not always agree on how to go about doing that. There were a lot of closed door, behind the scenes, interesting meetings. But at the end of the day, because we all were looking in the same direction, it was just a matter of how could we best do it. And so it wasn't about, government versus private sector. I mean, there are things that we jumped in and did as private sector that, maybe it was government responsibility, or vice versa, where, government could do things we couldn't do, because remember, a lot of our properties and our members, everything was closed, and so access was very different. So it was just really everybody looking at what do we need to get done, who can best do it, whether it was on the government or the private sector side, or more regional bodies that we work with, like CARFO, who had the contacts, who could call somebody, who could write. We had a lot of advocacy efforts, so I chaired the advocacy committee for CHTA, so it had to be dealing with talking to the various governments. We wrote a lot of passionate letters to the UK, to the USA. We worked with diplomats in the various territories, to give support to our argument as to some of the things that we were seeing and some of the kind of notice that came out. Remember, we had for the UK the red light, green light system, and the Caribbean was put in a certain box, and we had to do a lot of lobbying effort. So it was just a joint effort, and if you had a contact, if you were able to call someone, write to someone, just everyone was on the same page. And I think going forward, we're seeing that very closely with CTO, as a CHTA as president and our assistant CEO, we sit on the CTO board. CTO board sits on our board. So there is always open dialogue. We know what each association is doing. We know what each organization is doing. And that's important to be able to move forward in that way. It's no secrets in tourism. Tourism is not about politics. In the private sector throughout the region, we try to stress that tourism is bigger than any politician in terms of politics, I should say. We don't want to focus on it in that way. We want to know that everybody has a shared vision, because at the end of the day, it is the driver of our economy. It is what really propels the Caribbean. And so we need to be able to move forward in a seamless way and ensure that everybody is on the same page.
Speaking with Nicola Madden-Greig, President of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association here at the 42nd Station of the Caribbean Travel Marketplace here in Montego Bay. My name is Erwin Clare. Tourism, of course, is a data-driven business, and we now see where Caribbean Marketplace and your membership are using that now to make decisions that are credible in their businesses. Share with us for our listeners, and I know that there's a whole lot of numbers. Share with us for our listeners the numbers that make sense to the average man on the street when we speak of tourism coming back.
All right, so as you said, data is very important. We have some good data partners that we work with. We want to look at, of course, stopover arrivals, which is the number of visitors coming into the island. We look at their spend. We look at where they're spending their money. Some of the data that I presented yesterday as our 3rd annual Caribbean Travel Forum. So that's a new section of what we do around Marketplace, which is to discuss the business of tourism. Is when you look at the spend in terms of where they're spending, we saw things that they're spending on nature and adventure. They want to do shopping. They want to do lifestyle experiences. So it's being able to understand that, and for us to say to our various constituents, whether it's a supplier to the industry besides the accommodation, the hotels and the attractions, but what are the opportunities that you, the day-to-day person in your little business, can take advantage of. And so data like that will tell you that, okay, for example, they're looking for more local art and craft, but then you might see a satisfaction or lack of satisfaction because they can't find the products that they're looking for in the destination. So we can say to you, here are the opportunities. This is where you could start your small business or your micro business. This is where you could grow the business that you currently have and be able to attract visitors or be able to partner with a hotel